Welcome to the Video Game Show. This is episode 223, and joining myself, Chad, tonight is Keith.
Yes, hello.
What did you do this week, Keith? You bought what game?
I've been playing King's Bounty: The Legend.
And this is on the PC under via Steam.
Via Steam. They had King's Bounty: The Legend, King's Bounty: Armored Princess, which is, I still haven't, because I haven't even played it or opened it, the other one. I don't know if Armored Princess is a sequel or an add-on. No, it's a sequel. Okay, because I'm looking at the thing. So The Legend is the original, and then Armored Princess is a sequel, and then Crossworlds is an expansion to the Armored Princess. So, but basically what it is, it's a role-playing strategy game. While you're running around, you start out, you pick your class, and you have a paladin, a warrior, and a mage. And it's pretty much just like everything where there's three classes. You have your magic guy, your melee guy, and then your hybrid guy. You don't actually fight as your person. You have armies that actually do all the fighting for you, and then you can cast spells. But when you have your little guy, you run around and you actually click to move around on the main map, and you can see the enemies, and they'll run up to you and attack you, or you go attack them. So you just can do whatever you want as you're clicking around to move around the map. Then enemies will run up to you if they notice you and fight you. Then it comes into like a hex turn-based board. And you can have up to 5 units on each side, and it's pretty much then becomes like a board game. So you have your guys, it's turn-based. The couple things that I like about it are when you're fighting, okay, so I have my little swords guy. He runs up and he stabs a dragon, and the dragon turns around and kills him. There's only a finite number of units that you can go. So you can't just keep going and throwing your men at things that are going to get them slaughtered and then keep replacing them, because there's only so many that you can replace. Like, because I already know in my game, I'm out of human archers. I'm now using undead archers because all my human archers were killed. But it's very similar to, it reminds me of Vandal Hearts. Did you ever play Vandal Hearts?
No, did not play Vandal Hearts.
Yeah, it's another. It's just a turn-based kind of, or a Final Fantasy Tactics kind of a thing. Because each unit can be upgraded and have their skills, and their different skills do things. So your archers have flame arrows and fire arrows, and your mages have like telekinesis. Your priests can heal people, but they have a whole slew of different kind of units.
I think I bought this game like a year and a half ago, because I was looking for a game like Heroes of Might and Magic.
I never played Heroes of Might and Magic, but reading from what people have been saying about this, it's very similar to Heroes of Might and Magic.
The reason I didn't like it, and the way Heroes of Might and Magic plays, is you have your overview of the world, and you're taking your hero unit, which has its own army with it, around the board. And you're picking up resources, going to towns, building units to come fight with you like you have your... It plays the same way. You move around, and then when you go into battles, you have your army attacking the other army. For your 400 pikemen go run at the dragon and stab it, the 20 dragons and stab it, and then it fights back, that kind of stuff. The only reason I didn't like King's Bounty was because I didn't feel there was ever any pressure to keep going. Like, when you play Heroes of Might and Magic, you're playing turns. When your turn's done, then the enemy's turn takes over, and he moves around and does things.
No, it's only turn-based when you're in battle. When you're not in battle, it's just kind of, here's the world.
Yeah.
It's not anything crazy like that. It's pretty free-flowing in that capacity. But the armies, everything is based off of your leadership. So as you get better, you can have bigger armies. The couple things that have been irritating me so far is they have random crazy difficulty. So okay, here's this unit. It runs up to you and attacks you. And you just kind of see an enemy swordsman, or an enemy wolf, or an enemy bear, or an enemy undead guy. Something like that. So it runs up to you, or griffins and giants as you get into the higher stuff. But it could be, okay, here's a griffin runs up to you and attacks you, and it's 2 griffins, so you kill them and fine. Then you see another griffin, and you go over and attack it, and it's 40 griffins, 2 earth giants. So you have no clue of what it is, and they have things that way outclass your troops, just kind of wandering around. Because even like in the very first, because obviously you start out, you're right by the king, like the little main first zone. There's things in there that you are not going to be fighting for any time remotely soon. And they're just wandering around there. So you know how normally things are isolated by difficulty. You know, if I go over into that zone, I'm going to be fighting tougher things. This doesn't seem to really, it seems like it's completely random if what you're fighting. That's been my biggest complaint so far with it. But I've been enjoying it, so far while I've been playing it.
Can you flee from battles, or is there a...
Yes, you can flee. When you do flee, you lose units. It's like you basically just die. Because I've only fled from one battle, and you just lose a bunch of units. And I was like, oh, well, I'd rather that at least I stay and fight then, because I have a shot. If you're going to lose a bunch of units anyway, what's the point of fleeing? So, again, it seems, and now from what I'm reading, a lot of these things kind of have been addressed in the sequel, but it's, I'm enjoying it, but it's not any kind of a crazy complex game or something along those lines where, again, without playing Heroes of Might and Magic, it's...
From what I understand, Heroes of Might and Magic was like Warlords. They're almost the same game.
Okay, Warlords was awesome. But I think that maybe later on it'll become more of an issue, but right now I'm just I've been running Ramshot over everything. But, like I said, I have to find a different place that can sell me human archers if I want to use human archers anymore, because they're all dead. But it's a small, the actual combat field is very small. It's not like there is this big, expansive map where you have a lot of room to navigate. There's really not a lot of... okay, let's head to high ground so our archers get a bonus kind of a thing. It's here's the field. There's going to be some impassable objects on the field, and then it's a matter of, okay, that's really all you're using to your advantage, is putting your meat shields up to block things from getting to your range guys. And then, of course, different skills use different things on different people. So your priests do more damage to undead. Your wizards can... kill the constructs easier because they're susceptible to magic, that kind of stuff. So it's a matter of rock, paper, scissors of what's going to beat what, and then that's kind of how you're building it. So as you're switching zones and going to different places, you really are kind of streamlining your army based on where you are. So first zone, it doesn't really matter. That's just kind of your thing. Then you wander over into, and again, it's not that it's like a path. It's you can go left, right, north, south, east, or west. That'll lead you to a different area. But then I wandered over to a swamp that had a bunch of elves and undead. So I was using more priests and, big hit, high damage things, because you can kill them quicker in that capacity. Then you move over to another place and it's, all things are flying and that kind of deal. So it's really, you're not going to be rolling with the same army every time. And it also is dependent upon what your leadership value is, because if you higher your leadership value, the more troops you can have. And each unit has a leadership requirement. So a peasant only costs 5 leadership per unit. So you have, a group of 300 peasants or 7 archmages, that kind of thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the 7 archmages are better than the 300 peasants, because the 300 peasants, I personally run around with a group of that, because when they stab something, they're doing only 1 to 3 points of damage, but there's 300 of them. Whereas, the wizard is doing, 10 to 15, but there's only 9 of them, or whatever it may be. So it all depends. It's just, you kind of got to feel out the units, and there's really not a way to know what the units are doing until you use them in battle to see what they are. But I've been enjoying it so far. I've played about maybe 6 hours or so. I don't know what the max level in that game is, but I'm now level like 7 or 8. So it's...
I think you have a ways to go. No.
I'm imagining I do, but I've already run through and gone through like 4 different zones. So it's either it's a pretty big game, or I'm just jumping around a lot more than I should be. I don't know. They don't really give you a lot of
hand-holding.
Yeah. So like I said, the biggest obstacle I found is just the random difficulty.
The random difficulty, I believe, was in the Heroes of Might and Magic games. You wouldn't know what you were coming up against. It could be a huge army or just a couple things.
See, I'm content with the fact if they don't say, okay, yeah, you're fighting this 50 things here, but you would know the size. You should at least have an idea. Am I going against 50 guys or 500,000?
Yeah. Because it'd be nice if they somehow indicated that this is a horde or...
Yes. And I'm not even looking, and maybe have a skill that does scouting that you can increase if you want more information on the stacks or whatever's there. But you should be able to look at it, and even if you don't know what the units are, you should be able to see numbers.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, there is... when I said horde, I remembered something. In Heroes, they did do that. They told you could see what was in there, and you could see under their names it was like a horde or a throng or a swarm, and each of those had conversions to 50 to 100, 100 to 200.
This game doesn't do that. It's literally, you just see one guy standing there. And I can't tell you how many times that you've seen, there was just an evil wizard standing there. So you attack it. And you end up fighting 50 or 60 different things, and there's literally one wizard. So it's okay, so you showed me the one wizard, but this is nothing of what this army actually is. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is annoying in the sense of, I don't care if you're making the units tough and it's hard to fight and that kind of thing, but you should have some idea what you're, number-wise.
There's no way to, right-click on them and see what they are? Or...
No. You can right-click on them and see what they are from the combat screen, but maybe there is. I don't know about it if there is. I've tried.
I gotta imagine they give you some idea as to how massive the force is. You have to check that.
No, let me see real quick, because I know I have Steam open.
Army size, kings, bounty. They gotta have a way. I mean, they modeled it after Heroes.
And I mean, I even on my guy I'm using, I even upped his scouting, because I was like, okay, because scouting lets me get more information on the enemies. Graphics are decent, by the way. They're nothing spectacular. They're not horrible. The background's very bright and pretty, think kind of World of Warcraft-ish. Okay, here's something. So if I'm looking at it... Oh, no, okay. If I do right-click on it, it will tell me 7 guardsmen, 27 pirates, and 2-3 bowmen. Enemy troop, very weak.
See?
But, all right, now, can I do that? No, I can do that, too, because I was looking at them from outside my boat. Okay. All right, that's going to make life exponentially easier for this game. Because that was my thing, was all right, I'm going to go fight this guy. I have no clue what's going to happen.
Yeah, my only complaint about that game was I wanted, an enemy to keep coming towards me. Of Heroes of Might and Magic, to have them amass his own army and come fight me.
It's not a...
Yeah, I know. It's not a strategy game in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a strategy game. It's a role-playing... It's like a role-playing game. So just like how in Oblivion, it's kind of, I'm going to wander over here. When I wander into that area, we're going to activate the next bunch of stuff. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Because since it plays like a strategy game, then... Because you can run around, and if you're just sneaky about it, you can run by and pick up all the gold that's on the floor and that kind of stuff to get money to buy units. Mm-hmm. So it's not even and your units don't get experience. You get experience, and through the skill trees they have, then you can upgrade them based upon the skills.
Yeah, that's like Heroes. Your tactic, your ability in Heroes with the leader was you could actually do more spells and more stuff during combat. You get bonuses for the combat.
Yes, that's what this is, because I of course have the warrior, and I have some spells, not many, but most of my bonuses are increases to defense or increases to attack, that kind of stuff.
And you got better units because what you did was you went to your towns and upgraded your town. You built up the town and had better garrisons, better stuff, so you could train your guys better and get newer units, better units. So
yeah, this doesn't, because I mean, it's literally, if you go find Castle is now a place where you can buy new units from. So I leave my castle, I go over to this other castle, I can garrison troops there and hire new ones from them. The only ways I've really found to get troops so far is to either buy them or animal units like spiders and these like thorn creepers and those kind of things, you can find spider eggs and like eggs and pods and coffins, and when you open those kind of things, you can get more units of them. But I've yet to find any other way beyond that. And occasionally you just have wandering units that will join your army if you find them. It doesn't seem like it's a horribly complex game, but from what I've been playing it, I've been enjoying it. But I've really just been doing that, and then, Warcraft.
Yeah, and since next week is, is it 2 days from now?
Tuesday is the Wowzer Madoo.
I'm sure we'll hear about that next weekend.
You know what? And it's one of those where...
It's going to suck the first night, probably.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to suck because just due to holiday scheduling and stuff, I'm actually off on Tuesday. And I just know it's going to be horrible. It's just going to suck so bad because all of these people that have had their accounts canceled are probably coming back, because now we got new content again. And it's
It'd be fun to watch the rush from quest giver to quest giver as you go right into the new realm when they start, just...
That's the thing I'm talking about that's going to be so horrible is... Because, obviously, most people have played Warcraft, or at least know something about Warcraft, but... So they have the instances, which are you go into your own little place and you can run that, and it's just you and your party and that's it. But then they also have the go over here and kill 15 of these things. Well, you're gonna have 10 million people literally running over there fighting to kill those 15 things. So it's going to be a whole bunch of, well, I got to sit here and wait for the respawn and hope I can hit it before this other guy does.
Yeah, that's how Lich King was. I remember that night. So yeah.
See, I didn't play it the opening night. But that's all. I'm just sitting here going, oh, this is just gonna be horrible. This is just gonna be horrible. But we'll see. Because if I'm home, of course I'm gonna put it on and see how it is.
Okay. See, we got our game review and got some talk in. We solved your problem with the game.
Yeah, that's going to make that so much easier. Because that was honestly irritating the hell out of me. Because you're sitting there and you're looking at it and you're just like,
roll a dice, take your chances.
Well, that's what I've been running back to all these towns and pretty much have been completely replenishing my armies every time after every fight, just in case, which has been taking forever. Because I have to run two, and maybe there's a quick way to travel. I don't know of it yet, so I have to run through the zone to get to the portal to get to the other zone to run back to buy more troops so I can use those troops.
If it's like home, Heroes of Might and Magic, there was no quick travel. You had to run all over the place.
That's what this seems like it is.
So you gotta run.
Awesome.
Okay, that sounds good. I think we're okay here for the night. Any last words you want to say? Closing out the show.
No.